There we go. Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. There's so many of you here already. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining.
Oh my gosh, I just looked at the chat. There's so many friends here.
Seriously. Oh my gosh. So many people.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Tia. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Ash. Hi, Saoirse. Hi, Dami. Oh my goodness. There's so many of you. Hi, Chloe. Oh, my Siri is talking back to me. Sorry, guys.
You're all good.
CK, hi, Chloe. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so obviously, I guess this is my channel. So my name is Emily. If we haven't been introduced, haven't been in a live stream together, this is officially my very first ever writing live stream. So thank you so much to my lovely friends for being here and for you guys for tuning in. I'm going to turn it over to Joy. We're going to do some like introductions and then do a little bit of chatting. I'm a yapper, so I imagine we're going to be doing a lot of that together today. But most importantly, we're going to get lots of writing done because I have been slacking on my progress over the last little while. So I need this. So thank you all for being here. But I'll turn it over to Joy.
Wait. Should we also share what we're working on?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Okay.
Let's add that too. Good call, Becca.
Yes. Well, hi. My name is Joy, and I also have a writing YouTube channel, and it's just at Write with Joy. So I just generally just document my writing journey, as most of us do. And let's see. Oh, what I'm going to be working on tonight. So I am just getting back into Project Phoenix because I kind of took a step back after I finished the first draft, which it's a high fantasy with like gothic vibes and a romantic subplot, if you don't know what Project Phoenix is. And I took a month and a half break from it to work on a different project while I was kind of waiting for that first draft to settle. And now I'm in the middle of rereading it. And as I'm like reading through the draft, I'm taking so many notes and I'm going to be changing so much for the second draft, but I'm actually really excited about it. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to be reading and taking notes on my manuscript for this live stream.
Amazing.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I have a YouTube channel as well. I changed my username, so now it's Amelia is Writing. It used to be written by Amelia, and it had 2 A's, and I hated that, so I changed it. And yeah, I just graduated from college last Saturday. So
yeah, you did. Congratulations.
I haven't worked on my book in a while, so I haven't even thought about it's been like rolling around in my brain, but I haven't thought about writing in a while. So tonight I'm going to be kind of re-outlining. My project is kind of a science fantasy, I think is the genre. Very Dune-esque, kind of Star Wars, but also kind of 1984. Lots of political science stuff, because that's what my degree is in. So yeah, I'm going to be kind of re-outlining and just kind of slowly getting back into writing tonight. So yeah, that's the goal. It's giving education. I got my bachelor's degree, so.
Lots of congrats for you.
Thank you guys. Oh, thank you guys. I'm really proud, and I got summa cum laude. So I'm really
proud. You did.
I want to be humble, but I'm also like, I did that.
No,
you're proud of it, and you should own it.
Your accomplishments, you should own them 100%. 100%.
So, yeah.
Don't let anybody make you feel bad about that.
I was like really, after graduating, I was like, okay, I need to get back into writing, but I gave myself a week to just do nothing. And now I'm back. This is the first time I've written, so I'm excited.
Yay!
I'm excited for you. Thank you.
I keep hitting my desk.
It's all good.
Awesome. Okay, so should I go? How do I follow that up? Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Becca Tobar. I also have a writing channel here. It's just Becca Tobar. And everyone on this stream gets the tea before everybody else does, but I actually finished draft 2 of Eden last week. So very excited.
Yay! Oh my gosh. Yeah. You're a fast writer, girl. What in the world?
Listen, okay, writing 30,000 words in April helped so much because it put me in a really good spot to finish it by May. Yeah, I ordered like a very fancy like bound copy from Barnes and Noble Press that does not get here for another 2 weeks. So I'm forcing myself to just take a beat. But I am gonna start like brain dumping some ideas for revisions during the stream. So
Amazing. Amazing.
That's so exciting. I love the getting it printed. That's so cool.
Yes. I can't wait to do that. Oh my gosh.
Same.
It's gonna be so fun.
I think about that all the time.
great motivation for finishing a draft, let me tell you.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mick. Amazing. Oh my goodness. There's so many friends in the chat. Thank you so
I
much
know.
for being here,
Oh my
guys.
gosh.
I think I saw Ari as well.
Riley, hi.
Ren, yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. And then I guess, yeah. Yes, we are so excited about Becca finishing draft.
Woo!
Yes, we are.
Amazing.
Ew.
I am so proud of you. Oh my goodness. Okay, and I guess it's me. I did a little bit of an intro already, but I guess I didn't say what I'm working on. Yes, we are so proud, Becca. I haven't decided, if I'm being honest. I currently am working on Project Stargazer, which if you have been following along on my writing journey so far, that has been pretty much the only thing I have been thinking about, writing about, living, breathing this story for about a year now. And about a month ago, I want to say at this point, I came up with an idea for another story. Normally, I'm like a one story at a time kind of person, but I do have another one that's kind of, it's half baked, but it's, you know, it's sticking around. I think I've shared little snippets with a couple of you guys about that one. So I might work on that. I might work on Stargazer, or I also started a Substack recently, very impulsively, as Becca knows, just for the vibes. It's called For the Plot. So I have a couple of sort of
I love that.
draft there. So I might work on that. I haven't fully decided yet. So it's going to be a going based off of vibes situation, I think. But so excited for you guys to be joining me here. Thank you so much for being here. I feel so honored that you guys were available and down to do a little live stream with me. I'm hoping we can kind of kick things off. Yes, Substack for the win.
I want to start one so
100%.
bad, but I'm like, do I really want to bite off that too?
You could just do what I did and do it impulsively and post one thing and then leave for like a month and a half. So
I might just do that.
would recommend. Oh my goodness. Hi, muted. Hi, Jessa. Continue draft one of my speculative horror
Wow.
novel. Amazing. Yeah, actually, what is everybody else working on? We said what we're working on. What's everybody in the chat working on? And then we'll do a little Q&A, and then I promise at some point, get to some writing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes,
Gonna try and write
Christina.
today.
Same.
Same.
Oh, Tia. Girl, listen, it happens to all
So
of us.
relatable.
It's
I also
really
haven't seen you
hard.
in like 2 weeks. So I'm with you. It's been rough.
I ghosted my channel. I was like, I need to graduate. I can't do this right now.
5K Friday. Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
5K. That's gonna be amazing.
Wow.
that's amazing.
Sending good vibes, CK.
Yes.
Revising final draft of my debut. Anna, oh, that's so exciting. Final draft.
Wow.
goodness.
Congratulations.
Congrats. That's
It must
amazing.
feel so good.
Oh, and revising children with this hopefully for the last time ever. Yes, Dami. I know that's right.
Oh, Nami, I can't wait for your
Yeah.
book.
It
Oh my
sounds
God.
amazing. I read your Substack yesterday. Stunning.
Mhm.
Stunning. I am so excited. Amazing. Search is going through beta reader feedback.
Nice.
Ooh, that's so exciting.
Cool. So cool.
Jen Marie is starting the next draft of her first novel. Oh, amazing. Dami, yes, that is so cool. Agree, CK. Trying to get back into writing. Honestly, I think the majority of us are in a similar boat. So you're in good company, Ren. You are in good company today. Chloe is working on a sci-fi project called When Dead Owls Cry. Wow.
I
okay.
love that title. Oh
Me
my
too.
God.
Yeah, that's so
Really,
cool.
really compelling. I love that.
I love sci-fi. Love sci-fi.
Mhm.
I really feel like sci-fi is going to have a moment soon after
think so
fantasy.
too.
I agree.
It's about time.
I think that's
feel
next. Yeah.
Christina is going to finish the very long first draft of my vamp
Mhm.
fantasy. Okay.
Okay.
Love that. Ash is trying to finish chapter 1 to send out to alpha readers today. Oh my gosh, an exciting milestone. Sending good
Yes.
vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Very much a cool name. Love that title. Miley is working on the absolutely Herculean task of unpacking and organizing well in a combo flare.
Man.
Sending good vibes because
Yes.
that's a task. Good luck.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh no.
Yeah.
1 second, my thing zoomed in.
Oh,
I
you're
keep
good.
doing that with my mouse. I can't see anything. I have the Apple mouse and it'll like
Oh,
blow up
yeah.
immediately, which is super fun. Okay. Do a couple more and then we'll dive into some Q&A because I know you guys left some good ones over on Instagram. Any idea for a
Hi,
book?
Taylor.
Oh my goodness. I can't keep up with the chat fast enough. Oh my goodness. You're
My
jumping
exact
through.
reaction to also seeing Taylor anywhere.
Mother.
This is so real, Tia. I'm just trying to survive. Yes.
Same.
Draft 2 of my romantasy. Amazing. Yeah. 11 out of 10 task. You are killing it. Correct. Oh my gosh. Almost done with the draft, Ari. That's huge.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. I'm
So
so excited.
Which also, Pretend the Earth Doesn't Call. What a phenomenal title.
That's also
Are
an
you kidding me?
amazing
Banger of a
title.
title for sure.
I
I'm
have
just
not
thinking
figured
about
a
the
title for
cover.
any projects or books or anything. Like titles are not, I guess, my talent.
It's not my strong suit either, Joy. Don't worry. I am like, this will work for now. And I'm hoping
Yeah.
that in the event that I get an agent and a publishing deal, somebody who is way better at titles will come along and be like, here you go. And I'll be like,
Here.
thank you.
Oh, here you go. Yeah.
The
that's
book I
what
can
I'm
do.
doing.
The title, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. I'm like lagging on this chat. I'm trying to keep
No,
up with
you're
it.
fine.
That's
It's an
okay.
active chat.
A very
know.
active chat. Love it. Like, keep it coming. This is a me problem.
Mhm.
This is a skill issue.
This is a skill issue. Exactly.
To be fair though, Tia, because I'm reading her say that she can't come up with a title. I've never had a problem with titles until Eden. Like I have titles for every other project I work on. I still don't have a really good title for that one. So you're not alone.
These things take time. So it's all good. I finally just got to Taylor's message. Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
Oh, so much.
Taylor, you always have A1 emoji usage. I'm obsessed.
Yes.
Busy all week doing tech week for a musical. Oh my gosh. If anybody is a
Right.
minor theater kid, thoughts and
That's a
prayers.
lot.
Yeah, me too. Thoughts and
I
prayers.
miss
Tech
it
week
so
is for
much.
the
I miss
greatest.
it every day.
So fun, but also I don't think I've been as tired as I am during tech week in a long time.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
think my last show that I was a part of was almost a decade ago. So
Yeah, same. Well, it's
got
like
crazy flashbacks.
when you finish a show too, like the adrenaline rush and like I don't know, I just remember like weeping, like crying, like I've never cried before after finishing a show. Just so many emotions. Oh my gosh. But anyway.
100%. All this to say, Anna, thoughts and prayers for you during
Yes.
tech week. A lot of thoughts and prayers today. Amazing. Okay. I'm just getting caught up on this chat. Everybody loves you, Taylor. Everybody is like, yay. As they should. As they should.
I
Shout
can
out to
also
the
confirm
Chronically.
Taylor emotes as much in real life as she does
Yeah?
through text.
Ugh,
Just
I love
pure
that. That's why
I
they're all-
believe it. Just the best energy.
So good. I'm actually seeing her tomorrow and I'm just like, I can't wait because I feel
Love
like
it.
I need my energy recharged and she's just
Ugh,
Yes.
the best.
so great.
Also, yes, Jessa, shout out to the Chronically Ill Girlies just trying to survive and write a killer book.
Mhm.
Yes. 100%
Yeah.
agree. Yes. This is referring to Taylor. She is such sunshine. 100% agree, Anna.
That's such a good descriptor for her.
That
Mhm.
is like liquid sunshine.
Yes.
How are we doing? How are we doing, guys? Taylor would like to know.
I'm exhausted,
Earlier,
but I'm
Yeah.
here.
yeah, I feel
Um,
that. Yeah, Emily like asked me how my week was earlier, and I was like, I don't even know what happened this week. So that's kind of where I am, I guess. Just like floating, you know. But we're living. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
100% same. My week started off not great and got progressively better, but it also felt like both the shortest and the longest week I've had in quite some time. But I'm very excited to be here chatting and writing with all of you guys tonight. So
I'm honestly like, this is like the highlight of my week right now.
No, literally same. Okay, we'll finish up with our chat here. Ari, can't wait for your book. Yes. Asking for me. How are you doing with the beta reader search? Real.
Same.
Titles are so hard. Agree. Amazing. Okay. I cannot keep up with this chat. Oh my gosh, you guys are so vocal. I was talking to Joy before. I was like, I'm so nervous. I'm not gonna be able to keep up with the chat. Me, 16 minutes in. I can't keep up with the chat.
Maybe we should answer
I'm like reading through
on that note, yes, let's switch into some questions.
Yes.
So I asked over on Instagram. So I got a couple of responses here. So I'm just gonna go through them. Dami asked 2 really good ones.
Yes, Dami.
Where are they? Okay, so our first one, this is honestly topical because this was me until very recently. What is your definition of writer's block? I feel like so many writers experience it differently. What does it look like for you? If anybody has like an answer sort of locked and loaded, feel free to take the lead. Otherwise, I can jump in.
I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
I think there's like a difference between I just don't want to do this and I can't do this. Because a lot of the time it's like, it's a practice of discipline. You know, you have to just get yourself to sit down. And then once you do it, then if you give yourself a couple of minutes and you're like, then you get into the flow and you're like, okay, I'm here. But sometimes, you know, I'll sit down and there's just nothing. It's just absolute dread and there's nothing. And it's like, writing right now would be worse than not writing. So I'm just going to not and just give myself, because we live in, you know, a hyper-capitalistic society that wants to like constantly be producing something. And writing is an art and sometimes it's just not happening and that's okay. You know, so for me, it's like, if I just sit down and I'm like, okay, this is not happening and it feels really uncomfortable and it's just kind of going to be a dreadful experience, then I'm just like, okay, I'm just not there right now. But I think sometimes it's like, all right, girl, you need to sit down and just do what you need to do, you know? So that's how it is for me, I think.
I can piggyback off that. I feel like that's such a great way to explain it because I feel like most of the times I've had writer's block, it's like I'm coming at it too late in the day, so I don't have like the mental energy for it. Like there's a desire, but there's nothing in the well to like carry me through the writing session. Or if I have the energy and I'm sitting in front of it and like there's a scene that's giving me issues, it's because it's in the wrong place. Like it's in the wrong voice, it's in the wrong POV, I'm starting it in the wrong place. Like 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. And then I have to like, it's a different part of your brain, I feel like, to sit down there and like think your way through the scene through multiple different angles. And you have to like think through like, okay, what do I want to accomplish? What do I need this to say? What does this need to do to move the story forward? That's not working with what I'm doing right now. And that's kind of the block. So sometimes I'm like, I want to write. I don't want to problem solve. So then there's like a disconnect between what I want to do and what I have to do. And that's kind of like my writer's block.
So good. That's such a good way to put it.
That makes sense. I think for me, so I feel like I haven't exactly experienced writer's block this year since I started writing again. But there was a period of like 5 years between the time that I like graduated with a creative writing degree and then started writing again. Like and during that period of 5 years, I guess was technically like a period of writer's block. And that's part of the reason why I wasn't writing. And I think part of what caused it, of course, like I had a lot going on. Like I got married, I had 2 kids, like that was a lot. Moved to a new area, started new jobs. Like we just had a lot of life going on, first of all. But I also, another thing is I think I just felt too burnt out in my personal life to be able to like offer anything up creatively. And then the other problem was that I did not know what to write about. Like every time I would sit down or try to come up with a new story idea, like none of them felt worthy. Like I just had this need for perfection with whatever, I don't know. I just felt like I was putting so much pressure on myself, where it was like, you have a creative writing degree. Like you should be able to like sit down and write this book you've always wanted to write. But like none of the ideas felt good enough. And every time I sat down to write, I wanted all the words to come out perfectly. But once I kind of released that and changed my mindset and decided, I'm just going to write what I love to write, and like who cares? Like I feel like I sort of like broke open that seal, and now I just feel like I have so many more ideas now that I'm actively writing. So I don't know. I think I just sort of like put myself, like I felt trapped because I was feeling that pressure of, oh, I don't really have time anyways, and I don't really have anything good to write about or like anything to say. And even if I write it, it's not going to be perfect enough. But yeah, I just kind of had to like overcome all of those thoughts. And now, I mean, I'm sure I'll experience some form of writer's block eventually again someday, but hopefully not anytime soon.
Fingers crossed. That's such a good point. I feel like I experienced something very similar. After I graduated, I did not have anything left in the tank creatively. Like I really wanted to create, but I just didn't have anything. Like the well was dry, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I put everything into just finishing my degree strong and then starting another degree because I'm a sucker for punishment, apparently. It was fun at the time, and I'm glad I did it, but
we love an educated queen.
Educated queen. I try, but I do think that in sort of, you have to choose what you're leaning into. And I think for writing, it's very similar. I started a new job recently, so I'm kind of back and forth between what I would call like very short bursts of writer's block, where similarly, like I want to put words on the page, but similar to Becca, I'm like, I don't want to problem solve today. I just want to put words down. And sometimes, yeah, the problem solving piece does have to come first before any of the words will really mean anything. So I completely relate. Yeah, usually whenever I'm encountering writer's block, it's just because I have too many other things going on and my brain doesn't have the space to be creative, or similar to Joy, I'm like putting too much pressure on myself for things to be perfect, because even though I know realistically that that's not an achievable standard, I still think that like that's where I have to be. And so getting out of that headspace is tough. Sometimes it works, and other times, I sit down to write, I get frustrated, and I end up going and doing literally anything else, and it helps. But just always trying again and sort of seeing what's going to happen. On the days that I feel like not motivated at all to write, I'll set a timer for like 10-15 minutes in the notes app on my couch while I'm like watching a show or something. I'll be like, I'm just gonna see. You can't spook the muse. You have to just kind of I'll just see what happens. And then a lot of the time, those nights end up being the nights where, I hit like 1,000 words, which doesn't happen very often. But I would say like if you're experiencing something similar, just lower the pressure that you put on yourself to be like, I'm just going to write for 10 minutes. And even if everything is terrible and I throw it all out, at least I did it. At least I showed up for myself.
Yeah. And you're like exercising that muscle of showing up and like sitting down even when you don't feel like it too, which I think is important. Also, I'm Amina.
Hi, Amina. Oh my goodness. I'm like so
I just like saw him. I was like, oh my gosh, Amina's here.
Celeb sighting. Hi, Amina.
Yes, right?
100%.
Oh, I love that phrase, Anna.
I think it can be hard. I think one of the things too that one of my friends actually, like when I was in grad school, told me was that everything that we do, especially anything creative, can't exist in a vacuum. Like it's affected by the things that affect you. So don't feel like showing up inconsistently is some sort of like moral failing. Like you use what you have when you can.
Yeah.
I don't know if that sounds like that was giving a little bit of the Noah Centineo speech energy, but like it made sense.
No, it's good though. It's good.
Oh my god.
Incredible reference.
Amina, of course you're a celeb. Yes,
A-lister.
A-lister Amina, yes.
Mhm.
100%. Those are such good answers, guys. I feel like writer's block is something that is, like Dami said, so personal to each of
Yeah.
us, but also there's an inevitability to it that unfortunately we have no choice but to deal with sometimes. So
Mm.
it's gonna be what it is. Stop! I'm loving this exchange. This chat is so fun. Even though I cannot keep up with it,
I
I'm
will
very
not
much
stop.
Okay, so we got one more question here on Instagram. And then if anybody else has any questions in the chat, I promise I will try to be better about it. But Dami asked a second question, overachiever. Love to see it. She wants to know team drafting or team editing?
Ooh.
Where are we?
Oh
It's drafting,
no.
Incredible question.
Oh no.
I
I'll
am
go,
gonna
or no, you go,
say
Becca.
no. Okay, I am gonna say I haven't gotten to the edit stage yet, but I am gonna say editing because even though it might suck, the idea of taking what I have and making it better is incredibly appealing to me. Like I feel like that's where I really
Mhm.
start to like see the story and like its real form, and you're just like, okay, like my goal is to hopefully have draft 3 ready for beta readers by October, which is so perfect because the book takes place in October. So
I love that. Oh my gosh.
the seasonal
The
read,
vibes are
and
amazing.
I just feel like I'll feel so much more confident giving it to
Mhm.
people when they can see it, even if it's not perfect, a little bit of a closer version of the story to what I'm hoping it will be. Like I don't care if I kill myself during edits. I will 100%, like I think that's where I'm going to shine. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I honestly think I'm the same way. Like I am absolutely team edit. Like I love perfecting things, and I don't know, I'm such a perfectionist too. It's like with my first drafts especially, I have had to like let go and just like get it out there so that the story's on the page, and there's going to be all sorts of changes, I know, but like oh my gosh, I cannot wait for it to be pristine. And I know like no book is ever going to be absolutely perfect, but I just cannot wait for like just I don't know, letting like you said, like letting that vision come to light. And even oh my gosh, line editing is going to be where my heart is. I love prose and I love
Yep.
making things sound nice and
Yeah.
figuring out like the most efficient way to communicate something. But I can't really do that. I mean, I get the occasional nice line in the first draft, but I
Mhm.
can't really think about that when I'm drafting because I'm still trying to figure out the plot and these characters.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I cannot wait to just get in there.
Mhm.
I'm so excited.
I relate. I'm dying
For
at
me,
team neither. Sorry,
For
Amelia,
me,
go ahead.
the drafting process has been horrifying, you guys. It's like constantly falling into a black hole. It's like there's this whole just like universe of possibility that you could write about in every scene, and it's so overwhelming sometimes and daunting and like kind of dreadful. But
Mhm.
my drafting process is like I don't know. A lot of people say not to do this because it's really slow, but I write and then go back and edit and just like a rough edit, but I'll go back and rough edit and then I'll write the next scene.
Mhm.
And I don't know how long I'll do that. I'm just kind of doing that for now because it's what makes
Mhm.
sense to me. But the editing is so much better. Oh my gosh. It's like there's something there that I can contextualize and it's real and it's like
Yeah.
on the page and it's happening. Whereas like drafting is just a nightmare for me. It's like I feel so overwhelmed all the time. And I think it's like sometimes you just need to get to the point and just write something so that you can edit. That's the whole point of the first draft. But yeah, editing is just so much better and you can like really get in there and do what you want to do. Whereas like drafting feels like, is this even me? I don't know what's going on.
Well, and
But
I
the
will
editing is like, okay, this is me. This is me.
Yeah.
I do want to say to your point, Amelia, that like I also used to be a hardcore like don't edit as you write, and I think for someone that's never finished a first draft, yes, I do think that that might be helpful. But at the same time, it's like if going back because I started doing that, I started going back and editing like the last like 3 or 4 paragraphs, even if it's just like line level stuff, because it's like number one, it's like a warm up. And then number two, it's like, okay, I feel better about what I did before. So like you have some momentum going into like the next scene. So I really don't think there are any rules. There are no rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so true. I live by that.
Yeah.
live by that. There's no rules. So yeah, for me, that's why it works, because it's like, okay, I'm back in my book. I know what's going on. I'm back in the voice. I'm back in my character's head. And now I'm like ready to go. Whereas like drafting alone, you're looking at a blank page and it's like, oh no.
It's super daunting.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I feel very similarly.
Yeah. I love editing while drafting. It's my like thing. And I feel like confident that I can finish. So it's okay for me. If I was like, I don't know if I can do this, then I would maybe not, but I think it's like my strategy and it works good for me. So yeah, everybody's so individual, which is the cool thing about writing.
Yeah.
100% agree.
But it sounds like we're all like editing girlies. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the safe
I feel
space
like
for drafting haters. It's the safe space for drafting lovers too, but like it's
I know, yes.
drafting.
I feel like most people answer drafting. I could be wrong, but like most of the people that I've heard from tend to prefer drafting. So it's kind of funny that we
I love an edit.
I love an edit too. To Becca's point, like I like the idea of something that already exists that I can improve on and make better. In my professional life, I do a lot of like technical writing where I get content from like producer groups, and I'm the one that's tasked with making it more compelling, following a narrative, etc.
Yeah.
Love it. Like I can make this better. But what I tell to like all of my like teams at work is like there's nothing that's more intimidating than a blank page. So even if you just throw a bunch of bullet points down about some of the points that you want to hit, that is going to get you so much farther than just, you know, staring at the page and hoping that the most perfect sentences are going to jump out. Can I take my own advice? No. But that's okay. That's a story for today. But I totally agree. Like editing is something that's so fun because you can start to see it taking shape. Like I think when you're drafting, it's so hard to take it seriously. Like I'll write a sentence and I'll be like, that's so stupid. Like that would never happen. That's not realistic at all. I'm sorry, I just spit all over my keyboard. Disgusting.
Relatable.
Sometimes we just get a little bit passionate, you know.
Sometimes we just get in it. 100%. No.
I love that you outed yourself. You did not.
We wouldn't have even known.
I'm a terrible liar.
It has to be all out in the open.
Yeah.
This is the raw and unfiltered Emily is the live stream version. But no, honestly, I think when it comes to drafting, like drafting is hard. Editing is just a different kind of hard. And I think everybody has things that they prefer. And I deeply admire all of the drafting pals because that is my least favorite spot to be. I've been drafting for 1 year, like this whole draft.
Oh yeah.
I'm only at like 65,000 words. Sorry, I shouldn't say only. That's not nothing. I'm at after a year, and I'm just like, I want it to be further along, but that's just not where we're at, and that's okay. Things will ebb and flow and grow and change. But I agree with Anna. Drafting is legit terrifying. Correct. That is 100% accurate. Guess I'm really bad at letting myself write without constantly trying to see 5,000 steps ahead. Yeah. My favorite thing to do is to trip over my sentences trying to get to the next one, and then none of them make any sense. And I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Yep, I feel that.
Agree. I love pretty prose.
Joy, your prose is.
It is stunning, yeah.
And a lot of the draft stuff, I feel, but still so good.
Yeah. Thank you. 100%. I appreciate it.
Oh, this is a great one. Anne Roa asks, do you girls have a community? I need accountability, writing girlies. Come over to AuthorTube. Come hang out.
Yeah.
Because
honestly, AuthorTube is
all the time.
Yeah.
It's just the most. I mean, I'm going to plug AuthorTube for a minute. If anybody, I mean, I'm assuming most of us in the chat and obviously all four of us here, we already know that AuthorTube is like the best space ever. But if you're new to AuthorTube, it is truly like the most wonderful, supportive, loving, kind, productive community. Everybody is so funny and cool and smart and creative, and it's just such an inspiring place to be. So come on in. Most of us post videos on like a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So Don't
And
be a
then there's
stranger.
live
Have a
streams
comment in
and
the
all
comment
that.
section. I try
Yes.
to reply to like basically every comment. I sometimes will miss some, and I'm so sorry, but usually I'll try to respond to all of them. So yeah,
Mhm.
come on in, basically.
Yeah.
Hi,
And Dami
Anna.
and CK also have. Oh, hi,
And hi, Hannah. Anna and
Hi.
Hannah.
Anna.
Sorry.
But Dami and CK also have a
Yes.
Discord
Yes.
for
yes. Oh my
like,
gosh.
writers and stuff too, which it's a lovely
I don't-
Discord.
What's the Discord called? I have it, but I can never remember.
It's the Storyteller Society.
Storyteller
Yeah.
Society. Okay, amazing. Definitely, yeah. There's like live stream posts there, and then just writers chatting with one another, sharing ideas, expressing, dread with the writing process.
Yes.
It seems to be a rite of passage at this point. So,
Mhm.
100%, 100%. My goodness. Okay, I'm falling behind on the chat again.
No,
Do we want to
you're
maybe
good,
do
you're
like
good.
one more question, then we'll start? I know it's been like 36 minutes. I knew this was going to be yappy.
My own
We love yapping.
Yeah. Maybe we do a sprint, and then if you guys want to drop questions in the chat for us, so we have something
Oh, that's a good
to
idea.
answer when we get back, that'd be amazing.
Becca's a pro. Amazing.
I have done one or two.
She
of
knows
these
what
before.
she's doing.
I know. Does anybody have a strong preference between like 25, 30 minutes? What are we feeling for a sprint?
I vote 25, just to like
25?
to that. Yeah.
25.
Yeah, I'm fine with anything. So I'm just here.
Amazing.
Oh, Anna says
Oh, Anna's
30
here.
minutes.
Oh,
Eight
strong
hours.
opinions. Strong opinions on 30.
Oh, holy
30 is fine with me.
We can do 30 if we feel like we can do that. We can definitely do 30 minutes.
I mean,
Okay, let me
full
just change
disclosure, I kind of have to pee anyway, so like the extra few minutes will be
I don't know why the 8 hours really got me. Like,
Oh
that
my
is so
gosh.
funny.
Oh
Okay,
my
well, let's
God.
go ahead and we'll start a 30-minute sprint, and I will see you guys back here in half an hour. So I'll
Good
throw
luck.
that here. Good luck,
Good luck,
everybody.
everyone.
Yes, good luck.
Alrighty. I don't know about you guys, but that flew for me. I feel like that went by so quickly.
I absolutely did.
Okay, here, let me.
That was so fun. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you guys. When I
oh no.
Like, let's go right in.
Just a wish hand.
let me say,
Yeah,
when I
which
first
one is
started
this gonna
writing,
I Ignore me.
Joy. Oh my gosh. When I first started writing before I was doing YouTube, I had an HP, a super old HP that I had in high school. And I had Scrivener on that, and I was using Scrivener. But I never like set it up or like did anything fun. I just like did the bare bones of Scrivener. And then I wanted to do YouTube, so I had to get a Mac for Final Cut Pro. So I got a MacBook. Okay. And then lo and behold, your license doesn't transfer from HP to MacBook. So I was like, okay, guys, I can't afford this. Like, I can't afford another thing. So I just started using Google Docs. And then all the stuff with like AI and AI models like stealing Google Docs to like train it. I found out about that. So just now I was like, okay, I guess let's just bite the bullet and buy Scrivener again. So I was setting it up and I'm like adding cute stuff to it, and it's so fun. Oh my god.
I adore Scriveners so much.
Me too, but I was like, I had bought a camera, I bought Final Cut Pro, I bought, it's so expensive, and I was like, I'll just use Google Docs because it's free and, it works. But wow, it's so nice. Oh my gosh. I just forgot there's so much you can do. Google Docs is like really doesn't have anything. So
yeah,
that's so fun.
Well, especially as your project gets like a lot longer and as you do like subsequent drafts, I just have grown to love Scrivener because it supports my chaotic mind and process so much.
Yeah, it's definitely just so nice. And Google Docs is like, I don't know, anything that uses AI, I'm like, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. So even Pinterest, I'm like, darn it.
I know.
Infiltrated.
Is on there. It drives me crazy.
It's everywhere. It's really sad. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna spend $60 and buy the Scrivener, and I'm so happy because it was so fun to do all that.
Yes. All right. So yeah, how did we do?
Yeah, how did everybody do? How did it go?
I'm gonna be so honest. I got distracted making a thumbnail.
You're totally good.
Wait,
it's so fun.
Is it for the writing retreat video?
It is.
Yes. Okay, I've had the most fun watching all those videos. Oh my gosh. I love putting them all together.
Yeah. No, they have I was literally watching Amina's before I jumped onto the stream.
Wait, Amina posted hers? When did she post hers? Was it today?
Literally right before the stream started.
Okay.
Right
okay. I was
before.
like, how did I miss it?
It's been fun for us to watch too. Every time like someone posts, I was like, you guys know that Paul Revere meme that's like going around? It's like everyone's been using it for the Hunger Games, like Effie's been cast. So that's like me every time somebody posts, I'm like, Andy posted. So yeah, it's been very great. It's been a lot of fun.
So cute.
I love that. I have been loving following along. I feel like I'm watching like a season of a TV show, and it's like all of the crossover episodes for all the other shows that I watch. It's been so awesome.
So fun. Oh, it's so heartwarming. What the heck?
I know.
Yeah, I love the author tube so much. It's like,
me too.
I feel like a pivotal moment in history where like everything is happening. And like, oh my gosh, it's just so cute to see everyone.
Highly recommend going on a writing retreat with your author friends. So great.
So cute.
I love it. I'm very excited for that video. So everybody, if you haven't already watched the retreat videos, you gotta get on it. They're amazing.
I think, okay, so for me, I read through chapter 11 and started chapter 12 and like took lots of notes. And I will say I'm actually, okay, so like the first 25% of this first draft, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm changing everything. Like the character motivations gotta change. Like this world building has to change. I have to like, some of the skeletal structure of the scenes would remain the same, but I was like, I'm going to be rewriting like this whole dang book. But the last few chapters, I will say, as I've been reading them, I'm like, okay, like there's going to be small tweaks, but a lot of it's going to be salvageable. So I found that very comforting. And I will say, as I was reading a few of those lines from chapter 11, I was like, okay, Joy Slay.
You ate?
The best feeling, honestly.
I can write.
Okay.
Okay. So that feeling when it happens every so often, it's like, okay, I can't believe I wrote that.
Mhm.
That's so, it tickles me and it makes me want to keep going. So that was nice. I will say that was nice.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's always a good feeling. I feel like the opposite side of that, which I feel like I experience all the time, is reading through something and being like, what is this swap? What did I do?
Oh, believe me,
What was I
that
trying
was
to
like
say?
the first like 10 chapters of this first draft. I was like,
Fair.
what have I done? What have I done? And then I finally hit a point where I was like, oh, this is actually good.
Amazing. I did a little bit of like brain dump kind of world building and actually had like a tiny mini breakthrough with something in my plot. Basically, Act 2, Part 2, Bane of My Existence, hate her. Not actually, love you, Act 2, Part 2, but it just
Where's
continues to
Alyssa?
be, yeah, I literally, every time I say Act 2, Part 2, I immediately think of her. That and setting, I'm like, yes, Part 2 offs in this life.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't follow Alyssa, you're missing out. She is so funny. I love her videos. But I'm trying to basically flesh out Act 2, Part 2, and keep the suspense building up to the like whatever the Dark Night of the Soul, All Is Lost moments, because those have been very clear to me through honestly before I even started drafting. When I was just in my like early kind of outlining stages, I already knew what those were, but the middle part has been really earning its name as like the swampy middle. So I finally figured out how to get us from that like midpoint action that kicks everything off, and to create a little bit of distance between that midpoint and then just like everything sucking for our main characters, because that's how Act 2, Part 2, that's how it goes. So yeah, basically just had a cool little breakthrough of something that like wasn't clicking before. I knew something needed to change there, and as I was just like kind of brain dumping out, I think I fully solved it, but I think I'm onto something really cool. So I got 462 words, so not bad. I'm still drafting, so I'm like adding words. Can't wait to be in editing mode when I can start taking some away, because one thing about me, I'm an overwriter for sure. Another thing, again,
Same. It's really bad.
Yep.
Like every single detail that I have in my brain, you should know this too. Until I, inevitably edit, and I'm like, you don't.
Have you seen that video? That you'll notice that line is a very specific part of my vocabulary, where Pedro Pascal is doing the Hot Ones interview, and he's like talking, and he's like, and you should know this too, and he like,
oh my gosh, that moment lives
the time.
rent free in my brain. I just love how he shifts to the different camera. Oh my gosh, it's iconic.
So funny.
I do that to my husband all the time, and he's like, you have to stop. Oh my gosh.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I was copying all my Google Docs to my Scrivener, and I was reading over my chapter 5, and I was like, oh my, there's too much. There's too much in here. It's like, you didn't need to say every single, the air feels this way. And it's like, girl, you need to chill out. This is too much. Every single chapter is consistently like at least 500 or 600 words over 3,000 words. And that's like, I think 3,000 is like a solid amount generally. And of course, there's no rules. But yeah, I was like, there's so much in here. Like, what is even happening? I did not need to do all that. So yeah,
the good news is it's easy to edit that out. Better to have it and then get rid of it than to have to try to like add things in. This is what I keep telling myself, at least. Also, I don't know why my lighting is like so dark now, but that's okay.
Fine. It's giving Mac Photo Booth 2006.
Oh, what a vibe.
Which was the
what
vibe.
A vibe that was. Alrighty, let's see how pretty in the chat did. Okay, so CK 782. I'm almost at 3K for the day. We'll probably stop down. No 5K Friday. Okay, let's like 3K Friday. Very impressive. I wrote like 400 something words. So that's amazing, CK. You should be so proud of yourself. And then Hannah got 579. Awesome. That is really great. Got some questions here, which we'll get to in a second. Christina, honestly, this is so relatable. I wrote like 90 words. I had to figure out how my main character was going to get attacked.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
fight scenes. I can't. It's so hard.
Oh, fight
I
scenes
immediately
are a nightmare.
to be
They're
a
a
person
nightmare.
in physical space when I have to write any blocking. Like all of my blocking
Yeah.
makes no sense. I will need to have like anytime that I or whenever I'm ready to beta read, be like, please let me know if the choreography of my scenes makes any sense. Did I accidentally give somebody a third arm? Let me know. Because
Honestly,
I don't.
If you guys need help with fight scenes, I mean, I get a lot of my inspo from reading. I think that's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the general
fair.
thing. But the Poppy War, I'm reading it right now.
Mm.
She is so brilliant. Oh my gosh. And the fight scenes are top notch. They're like just
Okay.
right. So
I will say I was listening to the No Right Way podcast
I
with
love No Right Way.
and with R.F. Kwong actually.
Oh.
And they literally were talking about fight scenes and they were talking about how they glean inspiration from anime. And I felt so validated. I was like, I do the same thing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, okay,
Joy.
if they do it, oh
Have you watched Solo Leveling by chance?
no, I haven't.
If you want really good fight choreography, I highly
Mm.
recommend watching that.
Okay,
one.
I need to write that down. But the thing that they said is that it just captures like the fight scenes of anime, just it captures the energy so well, even if it's not the specific choreography. And like the characterization. And I don't know, like if that's what they're envisioning when they're writing, I'm like, okay, I do the same thing. So now I just love it. I love it. It makes me so happy.
R.F. Kwong, by the way, is brilliant. And she's getting her PhD
my
right
gosh.
now, which is like, how can you be
I
writing
can't wait
books?
for her next book. What is it? Catabasis? Is that how you pronounce it?
Catabasis?
Catabasis or
Catabasis.
catabasis. I don't know which way it is, but
I think it's Catabasis.
It sounds
but
amazing.
I don't know for sure. No, I'm so excited for that one too. Anything that's it kind of has like Ninth House energy, which is one of my favorite books, like
Yes.
Ninth House and Hellbent, the Alex Stern series by Lee Verdugo. Love that. So when I read the blurb for Catabasis, I was like pre-ordering immediately. That sounds like something I need to read. Looks like Meg got 636 words. My gosh, you guys are crushing it. Ren got 808. Just a brain dump. That was me too. Honestly, brain dumps are probably the most productive writing sessions, pardon me, that I have on streams. I find it's hard to like be in scene while being on a stream. So nothing wrong with the brain dump. That is for sure.
Yes. I feel like it just breaks it open, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got 179 words, and then I had to start writing dialogue. Sad face. Yeah, so real.
Fair.
I am not great at dialogue. That is not my strength either. Margot said she took a shower and had a snack, ready to write on the next one. Love
Very
that.
good.
This time is for whatever you want, whatever makes sense and is productive for you. That's what you should be. That's what you should be doing. Miley got the closet taken care of and organized. Amazing. And then Rumi came home, so we debriefed. The post-work Rumi debrief is truly a highlight. I live with my best friend, and every day is just a yap sesh, which is super fun. Well, this is amazing. Oh, Anna got through half a chapter.
Yes, Anna.
Yeah.
Love it.
Dang.
Oh, Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. Oh, my goodness. Anime is the answer to everything, honestly.
Yes.
Fair. This is awesome. Okay, I'm just going to go through the rest of the chat really quick. Oh, CK's heading out. Bye, CK. Thank you so much for being here. It was great to see you. Catabasis.
Catabasis. Yeah, catabasis. Okay, so I think the first one that I said was right. Catabasis. Okay.
Let me
I have to like drill that into my brain.
She is truly brilliant. She wrote the Poppy War when she was 19. And she's
I know.
getting
I
her
can't believe that.
PhD from Yale.
It's like unfair. It's also like the first books that she really wrote too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
wow. That is next level.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. Alrighty. Shall we get to some questions before we do another sprint? Maybe we'll do like 3 questions, jump into another sprint, and then finish up after that. Okay. I start a couple here. So we'll go with Anna's question here first. How do you go about naming your characters? Do you have a method per project or in general? This is a great question. I
Mm.
love this question, actually. Naming characters is one of my favorite things to do.
I'll go first. Since I like lean so heavily into my political science knowledge, you know, obviously I learned a lot about political theory and like probably, you know, mostly about Western philosophy and stuff. Anyway, I have like a lot of roots in Joy.
The mud dried.
Hey,
The mud,
what happened?
The mud
My family,
dried.
my husband and the kids were at a birthday party, and like they just got home, and Arden, my daughter, she came up and she's like, "The mud dried on my feet, and we have to scratch it off." Such 4-year-old energy.
Kids are so funny. What a sweetheart.
Anyway, go
Oh
on.
my gosh. Yeah, anyway, my book is like a huge critique on Western everything, Western politics in particular, and especially the current political environment. So Latin is like a big like root for me, and the title eternum comes from a Latin adverb which means eternity, which is like a huge ironic thing in my book. So I just like kind of pick and choose like Latin things and like make it into names. And I really like that. I think it's a common thing. A lot of authors do that, but I think it's really cool. I like to do that, especially because of the content of my novel. So
Amazing. I love that. I can go next if you like. I live and breathe the baby name websites. I
Yes.
shared something to my Instagram story the other day. I think it might have been like either last night or this morning, but it was basically like when the baby name website like asks you how many weeks along you are, but you're just on the baby name website to get names for your characters. Like that is my real lived experience.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
But one thing I started doing recently was anytime that I come across a name, either like out in the wild or while I'm reading or when I'm scrolling Pinterest, which I spend entirely too much time doing, I've created in my notes app what I'm calling like my character name storage unit. So anytime I find a name that I like, whether it's like a first name or a last name, I'll just drop them in there. And this actually came in super handy for my secret project that I haven't talked about on the internet yet, pardon me, because all of the names of my characters came from that little like storage unit. So highly recommend. It's nice because sometimes you find a name that you're like, ooh, I really like this, but it doesn't fit the aesthetic or the vibe of like the story that I'm currently working on, but you know, it might end up being useful for something later. So I just drop it in there, and yeah, it's like a fun tool we use down the road. So yeah, but usually baby naming websites. And I was trying to make my names sort of unique. My name is the most basic name that exists. Emily Thompson. There's 1,000,005 of us. I'm not even the only one that some of my friends know, which I think is so funny. So I just try to make my names a little bit unique and cool. And I think that's just because mine is a little less so. So that's what I tend to gravitate towards.
Yeah, I'm
I
also
feel like
a collector of names.
every writer has a notes app. That's like just name, brain dump names, you know.
Yep, that's so true. I guess for me, so yeah, with both of my projects that I have going right now, I've kind of had different methods. So with Project Phoenix, there are different races, like fantasy races, you know, like elves and whatnot. And each race kind of has its own naming conventions that I came up with loosely. And a lot of it is by vibe. But for the humans, I pretty much, since it's more of like a gothic high fantasy, I picked names that felt a little bit more gothic. And part of that was me just like Googling like gothic names, you know, and picking the ones that I liked for the humans that all just match the vibe. But then for like the elves and different, you know, harpies is like another one that I have. They just have, I don't know. I just sort of like made up the names, but I like mashed different like roots and prefixes together. But I'm like, okay, these all sound similar. So like for the elves, we've got Morwyn and Theodluin. They're made up names, but they sound like they kind of come from a similar root, I guess, which makes sense since they're like in the same culture and race and whatever. For Project Saul, I am very, very loosely basing the setting off of Italy, or at least like vaguely Mediterranean. Therefore, most of the names have a little bit of like an Italian or Mediterranean vibe to them. Most of them, not all, but and there's like reason for that and stuff. And it's not like strictly Italian, but I use some of the here. Let me see if I can find, or at least like they feel religious. So like one of the main cities is called Rocheval. Like,
Ooh, I like
I don't know.
that.
It just like sounds like I have
That's
Project
so
Phoenix
cool.
and not Project Salt, but that's like one off the top of my head. And some of like the or I guess Mortend is another like surname that I used, and that it again kind of has a little bit of Italian flavor, but like not too much, you know. So yeah,
That's so
yeah.
cool.
It's a
My
little bit
family is
dangerous because
Italian.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Actually, yeah. It's a little bit dangerous because I don't want to like accidentally use something from the language that like doesn't work, you know. So I do a lot of Googling. Like I Google every single name that I come up with and mash together to make sure it's not something. But in general, yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for.
Amazing. What about you, Becca?
Well, I think mine is different because it's not fantasy. It's like I've been calling it literary fiction. I think it's actually more upmarket fiction, but it's set in like the real world. So I think for me, like when I was choosing Peter for the name for like my main character, part of it is because he's very much a Peter Pan-ish character in some like aspects of it. So I get inspiration from like other literary characters, or I will absolutely just like if there's someone in my life that I don't like, I'll take their name for a villain.
For a villain, 100%.
I love that energy.
You're so real for that.
Okay, I'm ready to win a book. But yeah, I feel like I kind of get inspiration all over the place. When I was working on fantasy, my husband and I were going on a lot of cross-country trips. So there would be some weird ass town names, guys, let me tell you. So I would like write them in my notes app and be like, I could work on a variation of this and make it sound like something that I could put in this book. But I have no rhyme or reason to be complete, unless it's like obviously I want the name to match the character, but I don't. Very rarely am I ever just like, this is what I want to name them. It takes me a while. I do also live on the baby name website.
Yeah,
amazing.
I do love that.
Amazing, keeping them in business.
Yes,
aspire like soon-to-be parents and authors.
Yeah,
those are the two people that are on those websites regularly. Oops, I zoomed in again. But Miley has a really good like piece of advice here. So for historical fiction, using census data. That's a really good idea. For 30s bluegrass story. Tell me more right now on the US Census website. That's so cool. I love that. And she says too, I have a little notebook or a phone note to mark down any names I hear in the wild. Yeah, very similar to what I do. Amazing. This is so cool. I find names are such an interesting part of the storytelling process because what you name your characters obviously matters to a certain extent, but it's something that is easy to write off as just being like, okay, I just got to give them a name, just do whatever. Some people think about it so much. Some people are like, first name that I see, that's your name now. Congrats. Yeah. And then there are other people who don't name their characters until like the story is basically finished, which I cannot relate to at all. I admire and fear you a little bit if you can write your whole story without knowing your character's name. I'm not.
I could never. I can't do it. I have to know the character's name first. Yeah.
Yeah, so help with
that's so true.
For sure. This is amazing. Also, B. Brooke is here. Hey, girl. Hop in and say hi. Oh, so sweet. Okay, what are we thinking? Do you want to do like one more and then do another sprint, or two more questions? What are we feeling?
I think one more good question.
One more good one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one. I'm hungry.
No, that's fair.
I like, if I may throw a question, Kenya's question about hating your draft.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That one is topical. So let's do that one. Amazing. So yeah, what to do when you start hating your draft. I feel like something is off and lost the joy of writing it, even though I still love my characters. should I start it all over again? I don't know. What do we think? Has anybody among us been in this position? I know I have. So
Yeah.
it's a rite of passage to a certain extent.
Mhm.
We're all just thinking.
We're all like,
I guess I can. I did call it out, so I guess I can go
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
And muddle my way through this. So I think every time this has happened to me, it's usually because the idea that I had when I started is not the idea that the book is actually supposed to be. So like the idea that like kind of catalyzed it that I still really like, and then once you actually start kind of getting into the draft, you're like, this actually is a completely different thing. And not in a bad way, just like this is taking on a little bit of a different life than I anticipated originally. Because you start going through and like working on it and you're just kind of like, okay, well, that actually doesn't work and this character would actually act this way, and then it just kind of snowballs into it takes on a life of its own. So that's, I mean, I've had that problem with Eden, I will say, where I'm just like, it just doesn't feel like it's working the way that I had it. Usually it's like something small that you can do to fix it. Like, I'll just be transparent. Like, I actually didn't have a ton of conflict in my story at all when I first started. And when I was writing it, I'm like, this is all way too easy and it doesn't feel anything remotely like what I want it to feel like. Like, it's so flat. And I had to go back and add a lot of stuff. And honestly, it makes your job as a writer a little bit harder because you also have to figure out what that conflict is and how to resolve it. But it makes for a better draft. So I think maybe sometimes when you're feeling like that, maybe just take a step back and be like, what is it that I'm actually trying to say with what I'm trying to write, right? I did this with my last work in progress too, and I shelved it, and I was like, I actually lost the plot on all what I was trying to do with that book, and I was just like, I think this has served me for right now. I'm just gonna shelve it and go on to something else, and then maybe I'll come back to it, maybe I won't, but like, I think you have to feel your way through it a little bit, and sometimes it's a break, sometimes it's getting in there and hammering out the problems. I don't think there's any one right way, but I feel like if you really do feel passionate about the characters and the story itself, you will find a way back to it, like 100%.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, something similar happened to me with Project Phoenix, where like I really loved the characters. I was still really attached to certain elements of the world and elements of like that what was central and core to the story, but I kind of similar to Becca, like I didn't really fully know what the story was supposed to be about. So I did kind of lose the plot. I kind of lost momentum in certain areas. And I'd say like about halfway through it, like there were certain elements that I loved, but a lot of it, I was just like, I don't know what's going on with this. Like, I just feel like so many parts of it are wrong. And me personally, I mean, I'm extremely stubborn. So I just pushed through and finished the draft, even though I knew that there was going to be so much wrong with it. But like the second half of the draft is way less polished. It's way more just like haphazard, lots more zero drafting going on, lots more brackets, because I wasn't sure that I was even going to keep all of it. But I knew that it was going to be easier to solve the problems if I just had all of my thoughts thrown up on the piece of paper, you know? And now I'm in the stage where I'm going through and I'm reading, or actually doing the first read through of the first draft. And I what Margot said was to take a break from the project at least a week. I mean, that was it for me. Like, I took a break so I finished the first draft. The second half was a mess because I did kind of get that feeling of like, oh, like none of this is right. You know, it didn't feel right, but I just want to get it done. But now that I've had like a month and a half and I'm going back and I'm reading through it and taking notes for like how I want to revise, oh my goodness, like it's made a tremendous difference. And now I kind of have way better of an idea of what I want the story to be. And I'm making all these notes of all these changes. And am I going to like pretty much rewrite the whole book? Pretty much, yes. But like But I needed that first draft to discover who my characters were and what my story was about. So like I don't necessarily regret it. Am I taking a different approach with Project Sol? Yes. But also, you know, I feel like every project is going to be a little bit different, and Project Phoenix just needed to be that, apparently. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, I pushed through and then took some space, and now I'm like rewriting the whole book. So, yeah.
That's a great point, though. Like every project is going to be a little different, and you can try to apply the same, you know, line of thinking or approach. And for some projects, it's just not going to work. It's not what it needs. So being flexible as much as you can, I feel like will be helpful. But yeah, that's really good advice too.
I was gonna say sometimes you write to find out what a draft isn't, and it can feel really frustrating because you feel like you're writing nowhere, but you really are, because you're navigating, like, getting a better sense of what the story isn't will help you figure out what it is. So
Yes.
I can't remember who said it, or who the quote's attributed to, but it's the idea that like I haven't failed. I've just found like 100 ways that don't work, or 100 ways not to do it. Like that, I think comes to mind as well. I know for me, I'll just kind of jump in here. I feel like I hate my draft at least once a week. I don't know if that's like relatable or not, but
no, it's so relatable.
Especially after getting to like the 40,000 word mark, where it started to be like an entity. It started to exist in a way where it wasn't just me being like, I'm just going to see what happens. Like something has happened, and now I have to figure out if I want that to keep happening, or I want to keep making changes, and watching the story kind of grow and evolve. But what I really like doing when I'm really frustrated with it, and I find I'm just like, I'm trying to write, but I'm just fixing stuff on a line level and it's not really getting me anywhere, and I just kind of feel frustrated, I'll just write like old school style, like pen to paper.
Yeah.
And that's super useful. Another one is like, I'll do voice memos, especially if I feel like something with my plot is just not working for whatever reason. I'll like do a solo podcast for nobody but me, trying to work through whatever plot hole it is that I've encountered. But just know that you're not alone. That's a very relatable feeling. And you don't necessarily have to start it all over right away. Like I wouldn't delete anything, like keep it there. But if you have to shelve it and start, you know, a fresh document, either like in Scrivener or Google Docs or whatever your processor is, like starting a new document there to kind of free up some of the clutter that I know builds after a while. Like sometimes that's super, super useful too. Or doing like a different method. I've been loving recently the Notes app on the subway, like on my way to and from work through my commutes. I'll just add little bits and pieces, and I've had quite a few like teeny tiny little breakthroughs that have just made the writing process that much more exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, this is the first book I've ever written. I've never shelved anything or anything like that, but I mean, obviously I hate my book all the time, but I think
obviously
obviously I hate it so bad. But I think more than anything, writing a book is like a journey of self-discovery, and more than anything, self-acceptance, because you are going to fail and you have to accept that, and you're going to do a horrible job sometimes. But every author does that. I mean, your favorite author has done horrible work. And so for me, it's just like I read something and it's horrible, and I'm like, it's okay. It's not a moral failing that this is bad. You know, it's just an opportunity to get better. And so, yeah, I think taking time away is really helpful, because when you're in something and it's happening right in front of you, it's really easy to be hypercritical. But if you take a step away and you haven't seen it, and then you go back and you look at it and you're like, all right, this isn't like that horrible. It's just like it needs this and this thing. But yeah, I think it's just like the first draft is gonna suck. It's gonna be really bad. There's gonna be parts of it that are just haphazard garbage. Throw it in the dumpster. But I think that's okay. I think that's really important, because it teaches you what you're doing and who you are, you know, and what you do when you write. So I don't know. I haven't like had a whole draft that I was like, this is so bad. But of course there's scenes that I look at it and I'm just like, this so weird. This is
Like,
so
what did I
weird.
write?
What is this?
Yeah.
This is like the depths of my subconscious. Nobody could ever see this.
Mhm. I know. Yep.
And I feel like to that point too, I've kind of talked about it a little bit on my channel, but like I feel like everyone gives the first draft a lot of grace because you're just like, it can be trash. And then you get to draft 2 and you suddenly feel like, well, this one needs to be perfect
Like,
because
way
I've
more
already had a
pressure.
crappy draft. And it's not
Yep.
like it can just get incrementally better. And you need to focus
Yeah.
on the things that you're incrementally doing better. And each pass is a better version and iteration than the last. So all with draft 2.
So good.
Yeah,
This is good advice
so
too.
true.
Talking
Working
about
through
it,
things.
getting excited about it, so you get excited
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
This is tough though. I find talking to
Yeah.
my family and friends about it is like super exciting, but also I definitely can't read the room all the time. And I'll be like, and then
Oh,
this
yeah.
happens, and they're like, I need to go and do something else.
Yeah, so there have been times where I've like talked to my husband about my project for hours, and like bless his heart, but like his eyes start to glaze over.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm like, oh, I've been talking for a long time.
I just get so excited about it. But it
100%.
does, I feel like, bring back that that like giddiness and excitement that you feel often when you're starting a project. Like I would say the first 10,000 words, I'm usually like, oh my goodness, this is the best time I've ever had. And then I get to 30,000 and I'm like, oh no, I'm
it's
slowing
all
down.
coming apart.
It's all coming crashing down now. But
I will also say, I think that's what's really nice about like having like writer friends that get it a little bit, because I will say when I went on this retreat, there was one, I mean, we stayed up until like 2 in the morning, like sharing excerpts of like what we had written.
I love that so
The
much.
ego boost that you get from your friends just like hyping you up. Even if it's like the one single polished thing that you have in like a 90,000 word slop, like it will do something to help carry you through. Like, okay, I did this one passage, great, I can do the rest of them. Like it really does help.
You do have beautiful line level prose too, Becca. So that's
yes.
You're
I've been
welcome.
told
Yes.
I work really hard on setting, actually. That's all I've shared also on my channel, because I'm still working through my characters. So I'm just like, this isn't actually a good indication of what they're like. So I'm not going to share that. But
no, but you're writing so atmospheric.
You and Alyssa need to team up and write a book. You guys would be unstoppable.
I told her, I was like, let me help you with your setting. Please let me help you.
Yes.
Again, that's what writer friends are for. Some of us are really strong in some areas and maybe have to work a little harder at other areas, but that's what happens when we work together. It's why this community is such a great place to be. I'm just going to throw up a couple more comments for this and then we'll get into our next sprint, because I've realized we've been talking for an hour and 45 minutes, which is like 20 minutes. I don't know about you guys, but this is flying by. I'm having a great time and I could talk forever. So I am glad to be here. But yeah, Ari, I literally hate every single one of my drafts at one or multiple points in the project. I do think it's a rite of passage at this point. I agree. I try to take note of which aspects of the story that I'm excited about, and I put everything else aside. Kind of like Marie Kondo. Does it bring joy? No. Thank it and say goodbye. That's
so good. I love that.
Jess, I think you might have just changed my life. I think I need to do more. That is excellent.
Well, even the thanking it part too is so important, because every single word that you write towards your draft, even if you're going to toss it away, like none of it's going to be wasted, right? Like every single word that you write is helping you improve as a writer. And so even if it's not, maybe that doesn't belong in this story, maybe it'll belong in a different story, or maybe if it doesn't belong at all, like at least like you learned through writing it, right? Like what doesn't work. So I don't know. I've been trying to like keep that in mind as I've been reading through my draft and being like, oh yeah, that's gonna be gone.
No, that's a great point. This is a good one too. I wonder if just having fun with the characters. I think I think Sheridan Slack posted it. I think it was like a TikTok or something about this, of like whenever she hits like a wall with her characters, or if she wants to write but she's trying to work through some of the background and backstory, she'll do like little short stories for super minor characters to kind of help build the world and also just get used to like living in that space. So that's I feel like That is good
We need to
advice.
have Sheridan on a live stream.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
When is it
I
gonna
would love
happen?
that.
She is
Sheridan.
the best.
Yeah.
I
If you
love
ever
her
see
videos.
this, please.
Her live writing videos are like, wow, this
good.
is cathartic. I love
Mhm.
them. That
If
is
she
some
sees
real
this, Emily,
tea.
reach out.
Okay, yeah, I'll slide into her DMs, guys. I will keep you
Yeah.
posted.
Do it.
Sheridan, be my friend. Hannah Grace, yeah, I feel like figuring out your why and remembering what made you fall in love with your book idea is so important. And then ask yourself
Yeah.
how what you have doesn't align with your vision. Yeah, kind of cutting out the things that don't work. Yeah, Marie Kondo style. I really like that. Oh, you guys are I'm feeling
Of
so much better now.
course.
This helped a lot. Oh, I'm so glad. It's
Good.
tough out there. Like, yes, it's tough out
Yeah,
there,
and
but you
even
can
just
do it.
knowing, and even just knowing that you're not alone too. Like writing can feel like a really isolating experience if you're not leaning into community, and also realizing that like literally we're all going through like a similar thing. So yeah.
I love it. We'll end on this
Yeah.
for this round of Q&A.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ren. Yes.
friends make the world go round. So wholesome, truly.
true.
I love it. Okay, so
So
let's jump into another sprint. Are we feeling 30 minutes again, or do we want to do something shorter? What are we feeling?
I'm fine with anything. I'm gonna make dinner.
Oh, Becca, I
to
think
be
you're muted.
honest.
Me.
Yeah, my husband is literally throwing a frozen pizza in the oven for me right now. God bless.
Amazing. Okay, let's do another 30 minutes then. So give everybody some time to go eat if that works. Or we can do a little longer if people need a little bit more time. Hannah, did you say 2 days?
2 days.
2 days. I mean, it doesn't have to be the
a writing
weekend, but
retreat.
that sounds like a writing
Guys,
retreat.
We could do a writing retreat live.
Oh my gosh.
That would be
Imagine.
crazy in like the best way. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do longer? Oh, I see. Okay. Miley says 40 minutes.
Ooh.
Hannah says 30
Okay,
minutes.
also
I vote 30. I
30.
am old and am tired, but I am here. But perhaps 30.
Let's
also,
do.
I just have to
let's do
say
30.
Anna's question where she said we should show and tell our writing
Yes,
stuff.
I have that
We
one
have to do
queued
that.
up for next.
Yeah.
For after our
That's so
sprint.
cute.
Because I'm kind of thinking we'll do the sprint and then we'll do the rest of the questions that I think I have 3 or 4 other questions start. So we'll do that and then either we'll end it there or we can do another like 10 super quick like mad minute style last writing sprint. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and set the timer for 30 minutes. Let's get into it. Good luck, everybody. Happy writing.
Good luck,
I will
everyone.
see you guys on the other side. Again, I feel like that went by so quickly.
Yes, it did.
Maybe the next time we do this, I'm going to have to do longer sprints. I do like 30 minutes because I feel like usually that's enough time to like get into a bit of a flow state, but really the words were flowing. But yeah, how did that go? How were your sprints, guys? Good.
It was good. I got through like a chapter and a half. So
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
yes.
I just did a total deep dive on my main character and asked myself a bunch of questions that I now need to answer. So
Amazing.
Very good.
Productive. I feel like writing sometimes is just like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, where you're like, amazing, I need to know these things.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have to go figure out what they
Everything.
are. Which can be fun, but like a little daunting. I think the best trait you can gain as a writer is resilience, honestly, because to our earlier conversation, I feel like it can be really tough sometimes. So learning to kind of stick it out and, you know, when to lean into discipline and when to back off can be a really valuable lesson.
Yeah.
I eat ravioli.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
Love that too.
All
So
right.
good.
Fuel is
I will hopefully. Oh, sorry.
Let me just move.
I was gonna say I will hopefully be eating pizza soon. So
I love that.
I love
pizza.
just
Oh.
good old frozen pizza, nothing fancy.
What a sleeping puppy behind Amelia there.
Oh my gosh. Look
He
at
always sleeps with his legs like backwards. It looks so
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
It looks like he has little chicken legs.
So sweet. Alrighty. Oh, it looks like Ren has shared a word count. I'm going to throw that up here. 419 words quickly devolved into nonsense. 8 p.m. is creeping too near to my bedtime. My focus plummeted. So fair. I am normally a night owl, so I feel like this is when I thrive, but it's been a long week, so it is weighing heavy on me too. Amazing. What else do we got here? Tia got 612. That's awesome.
Ooh, look at you.
Nice.
Anna says children are fed, watching 101 Dalmatians, waiting on mom and dad food, and revised a third scene. Wow, you were killing it. That is so productive.
That's
So
very
good.
productive.
Seriously.
Listen, when you're a mom that's also writing, you have to learn how to be so efficient.
Oh, I bet. I can't even imagine. You guys deserve all the accolades. Hannah says I was lazy and watched YouTube instead. More to do tomorrow. In there.
Self-care. Self-care.
Self-care.
Honestly, yeah. That's one of my favorite things, just watching YouTube videos.
Same. It's my favorite like accompanying activity. Like some people throw on like TV shows and stuff. I have YouTube. Just YouTube is my TV.
Me too.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Same.
Margot cut out 450 words of notes in brackets, not to have to add a bunch of words, and that's not bad. Sometimes cutting is more productive than adding. I got how many words did I get that session? 739. So I got a lot, but it was all like brain dump style. So trying to make sense of my what's the word I was looking for? Like revelations that I had earlier. And I was like, oh, this is how this is gonna work. And now I'm like, okay, what's the order? So
Is it like a frantic panic to get all that down before it's gone?
before I forget.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every time. I think I got most of it captured. There's like a couple little things I'm going to come back to probably like after the live is over, but I feel like I've gotten it to a pretty good place.
Yeah.
Jessa said she did her washing, was brainstorming, free writing, trying to figure out how the plot gets from something weird is going on to, wow, okay, just a living nightmare. Real. Very real. Yeah, the mom hustle. I can only imagine. And grabbed a snack. Spoon of peanut butter.
This makes me laugh so hard.
Girl dinner. Toddler dinner, I guess, maybe. Toddler dinner, rebranding it. Love it. And Christina got 189, which amazing. That's great.
Stellar.
I love
No
this,
such
guys.
thing as a slow writer.
It's
I
a
love
painful process.
Honestly. Alrighty, let's do one quick question. I know Becca has to hop off in just a minute, so we'll do one super quick one. And Becca, you can go first. I think we'll do Anna's question. Let me just throw it up on the
Yes.
screen. 1 second.
Yes. Show and tell.
I
Yes,
love
show and tell. So, can you pick an object from your writing desk and do a little
Oh.
show? I think that would be so cool.
So
Anna, I
cute.
love this question. So yeah, we'll let
So cute.
Becca go first. If you're ready, not to put you on the spot, obviously.
No, I saw that question. I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to pick.
Amazing.
Okay. So this is.
Oh
The
my
dog!
gosh.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
This was
so
Taylor
cute.
actually brought these for the writing retreat. He is adorable, actually.
I love that.
And then I brought like stuff to make friendship bracelets. So and
Oh
we
my
all
gosh,
picked
that's
different
so
people to make them for.
sweet.
So Natalie got mine, and so she put, this is a little too big for me, but she put "Love You, Chewy," because Chewy, my dad used to call me Chewbacca growing up.
That's
So
so cute.
Chewy just
That
got
is so
stuck.
Stop.
cute.
And so now he
love
sits on my
that.
desk, and he is so precious, and I love him.
I love
That is the most wholesome thing
Aw.
I've ever seen.
So cute. So cute.
Oh,
I love
that's
it.
such a thoughtful
So
gift. My
sweet.
goodness. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent show and tell.
I want to
Tons
see
of
what
fun,
you guys
Becca.
have, though. I am nosy.
I'll go next.
Okay.
next.
I need to find
I'm not even at my writing desk right now. I'm like sitting at my vanity because my husband is in the rest of the apartment. But I did grab stuff to show you guys. So
amazing.
first I have this little jar. This is so random. This little tiny jar of like little monster heads.
Oh,
Okay.
There's this local artist who makes like little monster illustrations, and she made
Oh,
this.
so
So I
fun.
have this.
That's so
I
cute.
love
So
it.
cute. And then I have these little crochet animals.
Oh,
This
the
is a
backpack, the
capybara.
turtle
Oh my
backpack.
gosh.
Isn't it?
The turtle
So
backpack.
cute.
And this little guy. He's
Adorable.
so cute.
Is he wearing like
Can
a
I just-
strawberry?
Yeah, he's like a little strawberry bear. And this one has a turtle backpack with an apple head. Aren't they so cute? Oh my gosh.
I also just
I
want
love
to say,
having little guys.
I'm so jealous of your little writer Spisky that you have. Also, the fact that your husband bought you
Yes.
that giant pack of them.
And you like
I know,
unpacked
we
all of them.
bought
That was so
many,
sweet.
It was ridiculous.
That
There were
was so
many in
fun.
there.
The
I
vlog
have
just became
so
that
many.
unboxing.
Becca, send me your address and I'll send you one because I have so many left over. Like it's crazy how many I have.
I'm DMing
Oh
you.
So
Yeah. That's amazing.
I love that.
Oh, okay. I guess I can go next.
Yeah.
I keep like a big stack of poetry books at my writing desk because I like to, like, if I'm feeling completely uninspired, it helps me a lot to just read through a few poems before I write, and that just kind of like gets the creative juices flowing. So this is one of them. It's called Grand Tour by Elisa Gonzalez. This is one of my favorite books of poetry, and like no one knows about it. She's a debut poet. So like
Exciting.
I love so many of the poems in here. Like, oh my gosh, just her way with words. I love it. But I have like so many books of poetry just sitting on my desk, and this is just one of them. So yeah, that's that. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I will go next. I have it currently, my mic is balancing on top of it, but I went on a trip with my partner to London and Paris last year, which was super fun. We hadn't been on vacation together, so that was a really fun experience. But I went to Waterstones and I found this like series of journals. They're, I think it's called Flame Tree Press or something.
So
So they're these like
Yes.
beautiful, like foiled journals. So this one is like kind of English rose themed, and
Oh my
I've got this like
gosh.
green, blue kind of vine one. So I've decided
Those are beautiful.
one per project.
I
So
typically never use mine.
of course, the one that I'm actually using right now, I don't know where it is, but the one for Stargazer is somewhere else. This is the one for the new secret project.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think they're like, I think you can get them on Amazon too. Like I saw them in person, so I got them there. But they're Flame Tree Press, I think. But they're these
Love
cute
that.
little notebooks. I love a notebook, especially one that I am emotionally attached to and can't write in. So
Mhm.
while they're waiting for their moment to shine, they serve as pretty decor on my desk. So love it.
Yes.
Amazing. I love that.
I'm going to hop off really quick. I do have a dinner reservation. However, thank you guys so much for writing with me. This is so lovely.
Absolutely.
You're all so sweet.
It's been so great having you. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
We
for
love you,
joining.
Becca.
Literally anytime. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Amazing.
And good luck
Well,
to
it was my
chat.
dinner.
Get those words in.
I'm gonna try.
Dinner.
Mhm.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Becca.
Bye.
And then there were 3 plus 19.
Yes.
Everybody still in the chat, of
Yes.
course.
Yes.
Everybody's so sweet. Okay, let me do another couple questions because I think we've got 3 other ones here. So you want to kind of go like rapid fire through them, and then we'll check in after maybe and see if people want to do a true sprint, like a 10-minute type thing before we call it. So let's go. Actually, I have a couple of them starred, guys. Are any of these jumping out at you that you feel like you have an answer kind of ready to go? There's a few over here.
Oh my gosh. Hannah's question is so hilarious to me.
Let's do that one. Here, I'll throw hers up on the screen. Would
Oh my
you, as
God.
the author, survive your book world? This question works better for fantasy. I think all 3 of us are writing fantasy right now, so I
Yeah.
feel like this works.
Yeah.
I feel like yes, but I'm not in part of the in group that is causing all of the problems. I am just a speck on their radar. So I feel like I am not a target, so I would survive, if that makes sense.
I think
No.
like as an average person,
No.
I think as an average person I would survive. But if I like tried joining the guild, which is like, you know, the people that are actually out there fighting monsters and such, doubtful. Unless I like had access to some really cool magic or something, but like doubtful.
I don't know. I want to say like, yeah, I would. Like I would, but no, my book is about revolution, so
Oh yeah.
no. I would die immediately. I would immediately
Yeah.
die. But maybe if I like was good at hiding, maybe, you know, but no, probably would not survive it.
This is so real. I feel like this is
Yeah.
true for me too, actually. I think I could survive book 1's world, but not anything after. Yup. Without giving too much away, my like Project Stargazer, I think, is going to be a duology. And book 1, I feel like, yeah, I stand a pretty good chance. Book 2 kind of flips a lot on its head. So it's very much TBD. I don't know. It gets scarier. Shit gets real, for lack of a better expression, in book 2. Hannah agrees. Amazing. That was a great question. Thank you, Hannah. Always fun to like think about you as the author being in your book's world that you've like created. 'Cause I feel like oftentimes they exist sort of separately, where I'm like, this is just a thing that I'm making, but it doesn't really affect me. So it's kind of cool to like put yourself in the worlds that you spent years agonizing over. So
That's
very,
true.
very cool. Okay, let's throw Margot's up because I think we've kind of talked about this one, so we can kind of grab from that previous answer to Kenya's question. Yeah, what do you guys do when you're at the bottom of a love-hate cycle with your writing? I'm always curious to see what other people do to find the love again. To be honest, I cry. Like I get very emotional as a person when it comes to being creative. So when I'm getting really frustrated, like the first thing that I do is cry and like let it all out. But then I remind myself that's part of the process. Like cycles, yeah, it goes in a circle. Like I'm gonna have low days, I'm gonna have good days, and it really just depends. I try to just give myself enough grace to make it to another peak. I call it like peaks and valleys. Like that's how I'm kind of referring to it. So whenever I'm in a valley, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I've been in this valley for a while. There's got to be a peak coming soon. So I just try to hold out for that as much as I can. But also, yeah, we'll complain about it to my writer friends. I've done that to Amelia a million times. Been like, I hate my book. And she's like, no, you're not. Stop. So been there. What about you guys? What do you do?
Honestly, I feel like I just keep writing. Like, I know that's not like, that's maybe a boring answer, but I just,
it's a good one though.
I know that like if I'm unhappy with like the scene that I'm in or like where I'm at, I just keep writing through it, and maybe it's like dumb, and maybe like what I write is like bad, but like the only way to get to the next part that I'm actually going to like and be okay with is to just write through it, if that makes sense. And then I just tell myself that I'm going to go back to it later. This especially helps in the first draft. I'll get back to you like when I'm revising and editing and I hate a part and I'm like, but I have to make it better now. I can't just ignore it anymore. But in general, yeah, I just keep going and like I just will get back to it and hope for the best. I don't know. And I just remind myself that, you know, even because like I'm hopefully going to publish this book, but even if I don't publish it, I'm writing because I really love writing it and I have a story to tell and I love these characters. So even if I'm unhappy with how the story is taking shape, I still love my characters and I want to like spend time with them, if that makes sense. Yeah.
100%. That's such a great answer. Yeah. Only way out is through, Christina. That's so accurate.
I feel like if you're hating, I feel like you started writing the book for a reason. So you don't hate the whole book, right? You probably just hate the current scene that you're in. So for me, it's like for me, my intuition is my greatest guide. Like, do I hate this or is it just like I'm struggling with it? And if I hate it, then it's like, well, why do I have to keep it? Just get rid of it. This is like my book. Like I'm actually writing this, so I can get rid of this.
You're in control.
So if I hate something, then I'm just like, okay, this is just a clue that there's a problem. And I just have to figure out how to fix it. But if I'm struggling with something, then it's just like, okay, I need to just work with this and get through it. But yeah, I think there's been times where I was writing and I was like, I hate this. I'm just going to scrap this. And also the thought of like, I can't do this. This is too big. There's no way I can like address everything I want to address. But then you like zoom out and you're like, no, I just hate this like one paragraph. It's just like, it feels so serious in the moment. But when you look at like the broad picture, you know, usually you don't hate the whole thing, you know? So I just try to, I guess, get perspective and understand my intuition better.
No, that makes sense. That's really, I feel like that's easy to say sometimes and harder to do. But I think any time that's been my experience of just being like, yeah, I'm clearly something is not working, but that doesn't mean that like everything is broken. Can be a really good reminder. But yeah, perspective is so valuable because it can be easy to get in the thick of it, in the weeds, get so distracted by what's not working that you can't really see what is working. So yeah, getting a little bit of critical distance. And I like reading too, like reading other works and being like, okay, this is a really complex plot. Like I can do something similar, but they probably didn't have, to Amelia's earlier point, they probably didn't have all of these in the first draft or even in like the fourth or fifth draft. They come later. So just trying to give yourself grace as much as you can and recognizing that it's part of the cycle, but it doesn't have to be a place you spend a lot of time. Like there are always ways through it and always positives that you can focus on.
Yeah. And I already mentioned No Right Way, that podcast, like the E. Schwab's podcast. But like that podcast has honestly been really helpful for me because like I went through, I mean, I've listened to most of them, but the ones I listened to first were like the authors that I already like know and love and I've read their books and stuff. But it's so helpful listening to them and realizing that some of the things that they struggle with are the things that I struggle with as a writer. Like that is so validating to me where it's like, oh, okay, like these authors are really successful. They're excellent writers, but they still have experienced that like crippling self-doubt. They've still experienced kind of like hating what they're writing. They've still experienced having to rewrite their entire draft from scratch. Like they've gone through the same things and yet like here they are, like they're good writers, you know? So like, just because you don't like your writing doesn't mean that you are a bad writer. It just means that you're in a certain season with your writing and your relationships to your writing that you just have to kind of overcome and get through. So that's a good reminder to me too.
100%. I can't say enough good things about that podcast. Honestly,
it's so good.
I love it. I think it puts a lot of things into perspective, just like you're saying, Joy, like writing, like the whole premise of the podcast, if you're not familiar, is that there's no one right way to approach writing creatively or even to publish. Like everybody has a slightly different approach. One of my favorite episodes was from June of 2023. It's the episode with Holly Black. It's called It's Bad Until It's Good.
Yes. Oh my
And that
gosh,
one-
so good.
I love Holly Black just to begin with. I mean, the Cruel Prince series is one of my most favorite series. Like the way that story has stuck with me since I read it last year. Like I think about it probably once a week. Same thing with Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, which you've heard me talk about a million times at this point. But I think about that story like once a day. I love it so much.
Oh my gosh,
But this episode in particular, I found was really helpful. It kind of gave me permission to, see like somebody who I've looked up to for quite a while, because I read Spiderwick Chronicles by her back in like middle school, which is like a major throwback. But just give me permission to be like, you know what? I can write the worst ever first draft, the worst ever second, third, fourth, fifth draft. At some point, it's going to be good. You just kind of have to stick it out. So I would definitely suggest, Margot, like checking out the No Right Way podcast. There are some really, really critical like nuggets of wisdom that have pulled me from some dark writing places. I'll just say that. So hopefully it gets better. Yeah, being at the bottom of a love-hate cycle is not a fun place to be, but thankfully it's not somewhere that you have to live permanently. You're just there for a quick visit and it'll get better soon. Amazing. Okay, we got one last question here. I'm not sure if anything else has kind of come in since. Oh, no, Anna's just going to have dinner. Have a great dinner, Anna. Thanks for being here. We'll throw McKenna's up here. I'm going to ask, so how in-depth are your outlines and how much do you like to discover as you go? Does anyone want to jump into this one?
I go crazy on the outline. Like that's my main thing right there. If I don't have direction, I get too overwhelmed and I cannot process writing. I know like Suzanne Collins, for example, she's a big proponent of not outlining too much because she basically thinks, that you can lose a lot in the book if you do that. But that being said, Suzanne Collins is like, she's a genius and she knows what she's doing. For me, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. So I use an outline like crazy. And I've changed it so many times. I go in and out of it all the time. And as I get ideas, I'll go in and change stuff. So yeah, my outline is like really crazy. It's like I have dialogue ideas in there, scene ideas. I try my best to have like pretty much everything planned. But then as I'm writing, if something is not working, then I'll just scrap the outline and do what I want to do. But for me, the outline is so crucial in not being overwhelmed and just being able to like have a starting place. So
yeah, that makes sense. However, I am the opposite. I've tried to outline. I've tried and tried, but that's just not how my brain works. Like, if I try to outline, like I can't think of anything. I'm just staring at the page and I'm like, do I even know how to plot a book? Like, do I know, like, how do I, like, it just doesn't work. Like, the ideas don't come to me. And like, I don't know who my characters are and I don't know like what my world is until I start writing it. So with Project Phoenix, this first draft, I mainly did a discovery writing of it pretty much. And then like halfway through the book, I did a reverse outline where I just like wrote down in outline form what I had already written just so I could see it in a bird's eye view. And then I continued to like, I had like a very rough zero draft and then I like filled it in with more first draft. With Project Saul, I have tried to approach it with a little bit more structure because I mean, obviously with Project Phoenix, we already have discussed this where I'm like pretty much, I mean, I'm reading through the first draft and I know that I'm going to be rewriting huge portions of the book for the second draft. Like just so many things are changing. And part of that is due to the fact that I pretty much like discovery wrote it, but like, again, that's just what my brain needed, I guess, to figure out what the story was, which takes a lot of time, but it's fine. For Project Saul, I started outlining and then again, I like hit a wall at like the 25% mark where I was like, this isn't working for my brain. Like I'm not able to like do this without knowing my characters and being a little bit more in the weeds. So then I started zero drafting Project Saul, which is basically like some scenes I knew very well, like what it was going to look like. So I just like wrote like not nice prose at all, just like brackets everywhere and just little snippets of dialogue here and there. But for the most part, it's just like a play by play of like what happens. So like kind of like an outline, but expanded and really messy. And then, yeah, some scenes are very much like figure out what happens here, like the details, but this is the emotional beat that I want to get to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't know like how it happens, but this is the emotional beat I want. So Project Saw has a little bit more of an outline, but it's really more of like a messy zero draft outline hybrid with like a few scenes that are fully written out like first draft mode and like more polished, like the scenes that I like felt prepared to write. And I actually felt like I needed to write those scenes out in a really polished way before I could even move forward with the rest of the story, because I needed to get in my characters' heads a little bit and like get to know the tone and the voice of the world before I even knew like how the rest of the story would unfold. So I don't know, my brain works in weird ways, but that's what I did.
No, that makes sense. I think I'm somewhere in between you two, actually. So I aspirationally am a planner, but I think in reality, I'm more akin to like a plantser at like most organized, but I think I'm a little bit more of a pantser, or like a headlights writer, I guess, in practice, because those are the sessions that I find I like what I'm doing most often. Yeah, I don't know. I did a video a little while ago on the 27 chapter outline method by oh my goodness, I'm blanking on her name right now. Kat, what is her last name? I can't remember, but I linked
I
her
know who you're talking
in my
about.
video.
Yeah.
But her method is so fantastic, I think, for people who are kind of in that in-between space of being like, I want to kind of have a general outline that links back to beats and like key points where the story has momentum. Because I was noticing before I started like formally outlining, my story was just a lot of disjointed scenes and there wasn't really that connective tissue. There was no momentum. And I think putting it into that 27 chapter outline method really, really, really helped to just cut all of the stuff that was like accessory world building stuff that wasn't moving my story forward, and kind of helped me push through. That said, have I deviated significantly from what I put in that outline since I've started writing it again? Yes. Yes. Very little of what is formally in that outline has actually stayed, unless it was me basically transcribing a scene that I already existed and kind of like reverse putting it in the outline to be like, and this will happen here because I've already written it and I like that scene, so it's going to stay there. So it's a little harder, but I do a lot of brain dumps for my outlining process. So if you looked at my outline, it would be way more chaotic than the tidy like 27 chapter outline method that I created as more of like an exercise and less of like, I'm going to use this and this is going to be, you know, the outline that I stick to faithfully. I kind of just needed to dump everything out of my brain into somebody else's structure. But I would say on the day-to-day, like what I did today is bullet points with like, okay, this thing happens. Here's something that's affecting this person that creates stakes for them, I think, maybe. And then this has to happen at some point too. That could probably connect to this. So it's a little bit more of that chaotic, disjointed method. But I think similar to you, Joy, I usually have like my main beats sorted. I'll be like, okay, I know like this is the dark night of the soul. This is the point that we're like working towards. This is the catalyst. This is this other piece. And it's just a matter of kind of filling in the blanks, which I find I make the most progress when it's really just me, my keyboard, and my timer being like, okay, let's see what we can get done in, 20 minutes and kind of go from there. So
yes.
all this to say, I don't think there's like a right or wrong way, and the outline depth changes depending on my mood and the project and honestly the day. So no right or wrong way, as V.E. Schwab's podcast is titled. Like there's no right or wrong way to go about it. Okay, we got one more question here, and then I see got some notes over here. Katie Tastic, thank you. Yes, Christina. Katie Tastic does the 27 chapter outline method. It is really wonderful, especially if you're somebody who's kind of floundering in the outlining trenches. Definitely use that. She's got a great video on that. Ryan is going to call it a night. I know it's been almost 3 hours since we started this live stream, if you can even believe. I know I can't. It's like almost 10 o'clock for me. That is crazy. But Ren, thank you so much for joining us. This has been awesome. Hope you have a great weekend too. We have one last question that came in a couple minutes ago from Renee Strength. It says, what is your process for naming places in your world or town? I wonder if this is going to be similar to our character naming questions, but I know Becca had mentioned going on road trips and finding like names of small towns on cross-country road trips and like jotting those down. But I'm curious if you guys have a process for that or what that looks like for you.
I have to leave at 8, so and also took my AirPods out, so the mic may sound worse.
No, you're all good.
But,
No, you're good. That's fine. Yeah.
I have to leave at 8, so I'll go first.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty much the same thing. I really like Latin, so I just go to like Latin, like verbs or adverbs or conjugates and stuff, and mush them together to mean what I want for the city to be. Sometimes it's just like, there's this one website. What is it called? Fantasy
like
something.
Fantasy name generators or something.
Like that, and it has
I've definitely used it before.
Different pages of like stuff that you can use. So I use that sometimes. Sometimes they just like come to me in the shower when I'm like doing dishes. Sometimes it's just when I'm writing and I'm like, what could this like? What does this place feel like? What is it named? And then I'll just sort of put something together in the moment. But my world isn't totally fleshed out at the moment. I have like the core places, but the city names I kind of just put like brackets. Figure this out later. But like the main provinces, I know that, but not the individual cities. So yeah, some of it is still not happening. But
yeah, I do a lot of like fantasy name generator things for like towns specifically because I feel like I'm less attached to those than I am like the character names themselves. But like I'm almost never happy with like a single one that they generate. So I like will always like take it. Like if I like the root of one word, I'll take it and then I'll like mess with it and tweak it until I like it. And then let's see. The other thing that I've done sometimes, so like one of the cities in Project Phoenix is called Fenside. So like the thing about cities and stuff is that oftentimes it'll be like a compound word that you put together. So a fen is like a marshy area or whatever, and that's kind of like where the city is. So you kind of have to take into account the setting of the city, like what's around it. So it's a city in the middle of swampland. So I was like, okay, fen, that's a cool sounding name that is also for like swamp and stuff. And then side is just kind of one of those things that you can kind of like mush in there, like Fenside. I don't know, it just works because it's like beside the fen. So I don't know, that's one example where oftentimes my city names will end up being like compound names of things that are close to the city.
I love that. I feel like we're so similar, Joy. I similarly will go on the name generator and find little snippets of like things that I like, but nothing that's quite perfect. So I end up tweaking it a little bit, just trying to figure out what makes the most sense. Most of my location names right now are still like brackets or like town, or in the case of the city in like we'll say like the main world, the like real world, because my story is a bit of a portal fantasy. So like world one, we'll say. I have no idea what city it's set in. It changes all the time. It kind of sometimes looks like Toronto because that's where I am. Other times it looks like cities I visited and like borrowed bits and pieces of. But the university in my new project that I'm working on, I got the name just randomly, like from scrolling on Pinterest. It's I'll tell you the name of the university for the secret project, but that's all that I'm gonna say about it. It's like dark academia adjacent kind of, but the university is called Vellum College of the Divine Arts.
Love it.
Fun.
So nice.
But I'm really bad at naming places. I care about naming people.
Yeah.
More.
Mom.
Okay, guys, I gotta leave.
Oh, good. Have fun. Thanks so much for joining.
Bye, guys. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. You
My daughter just barged in the room again. She's like, hi.
Well, I don't know about you, but I am kind of getting a little tired, but this has been
Yeah, I feel
so
that.
much fun. I'm so glad we did this. So thank you for being here. And for those of you who are still here, thank you so much. It's been a very fun evening. I feel like I got a lot of writing done and a lot more yapping done, which is honestly my preferred split. So this has been so much fun. Definitely check out Becca and Amelia's channels. I'll link them in the description for the live when it sort of sticks around on my channel so that you can find them there. But yeah, both incredible people, as I know you would have seen over the last several hours. Wonderful follows. They create really beautiful videos about their writing process and kind of how to balance all of the other things that life throws at you. So I highly recommend checking them out. But Joy, do you want to let the people know where they can find you?
Yes, I also have a YouTube channel. It's called Write with Joy. And I do have an Instagram as well. I like typically will post stories to Instagram. I haven't really gotten on like a good content train for like posts themselves, but I am like somewhat active on Instagram as well, which is also Write with Joy, but with an extra Y. So yeah, I guess that's it.
Amazing. And obviously this is on my channel. So this is the YouTube channel where I post my AuthorTube content. So I'm currently working on the first draft of Project Stargazer, a portal fantasy with a magic system inspired by the stars. Still on draft 1, but we're trucking away. I also have an Instagram account similar to Joy. I really just use it for stories right now, but I'm hoping this summer to kind of revamp it and start sharing little snippets about my project, just since I don't talk about it too much in my videos themselves. I'm always worried that things are going to change so much, but there are little bits and pieces that I'm excited to share with you guys. You can find me over on Instagram at Emily Thompson Writes. But that is all from me for now. But thank you so much for being here for my first ever live stream. It will not be the last one. This has been such a fun experience. So I'm really excited to hopefully host another Friday Night Writes again soon.
Yes, and it was such an honor. Oh no, I have a child that's screaming. But it was such an honor that I got to be part of your first live stream. It was so fun. Thank you so much.
I feel like it's only right because I was on your first live stream and you're on my first live stream. That's how it goes. But hope everyone has a great night. I'm going to end it here, but thank you so much. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.